What is good, everybody? It's your boy Sherm back here once again with another episode from What's the Word Entertainment. Obed is out this week, so I've got a couple guests with me here. Of course, we got some returning guests. My man Chris, hailing out from Philly. Good to see you again, sir. It's been a while. Glad to have you back. And got my boy Anu live driving out in New York. Good to see you.
You know how it is. Please
be careful. We'll say we don't normally condone using the phone and driving, but we'll allow it for this time.
Hands free, brother.
All day.
We're good to go.
All right, glad to have you guys here. Appreciate you guys joining me once again. Let's just get right into it. So this week's episode of What's the Word Entertainment, we're going to start off with a lighter note, other than sports. We're going to start off with some news from the TV land. Dude, biggest thing in TV right now, I have to say, is Game of Thrones. Chris, I know you're a big Game of Thrones guy. I'm a Game of Thrones person. Anu, you don't follow Game of Thrones. You don't watch Game of Thrones, do you, Anu?
No, I don't actually.
All right. Well, I mean, I know you made
his last show on What's the Word.
Yeah, you're kicked off, Anu.
but no. But I do got a side comment, but I'll let you guys get into talking about the show, though. Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, dude, I'm looking for this coming Sunday will be the series finale, last ever episode of Game of Thrones after 8 seasons. I will say, Chris, I'm a little disappointed that it's only 6 episodes. It took them 2 years to film 6 episodes. Come on, because there was the 2-year gap between season 7 and season. Like, really, come on, dude. Only 6 episodes, and I feel like they've rushed it. I don't know how you feel about it.
I mean, you know, honestly, it was a lot of scheduling conflicts that happened, plus where they film, in the time of year. There's only certain months they can do with the weather and seasons and things of that nature. So little things out of their control. But I do agree that absolutely it has been a bit rushed and a little anticlimactic overall.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like it could have been more. I mean, I feel like they could have had at least maybe 10 episodes, just to stretch it out a little bit instead of rushing some of the storylines. But nonetheless, I mean, obviously, other than episode 3, which probably was one of the best episodes of all time this season, and this entire show, it's been kind of slow and kind of trying to build up and things. It's kind of, I don't know, man. And last episode was kind of crazy. Episode 5 was a little nuts. And we won't go into too much detail in case any of our viewers haven't seen it yet. But I feel like I said, other than episode 3, I mean, it's kind of even I saw some clips the other day of some of the actors being interviewed by the media, like, oh, how do you feel about season 8 ending? And everyone's just like, like you said, kind of anticlimactic a little bit. Anu, you had a comment to make, you said?
Yeah, like I said, I don't watch the show, but I have to be watching, we're eventually going to be talking about basketball a little later in the segment. Happen to be watching Rockets versus Warriors versus Rockets in Game 6 in Houston. And Amelia Clark, the mother of all dragons, she was she was on the
She was on the side. Yeah, it was on court side. Yeah.
And the mascot, right before the game started, he happened to see her out of surprise, and then next thing you know, he starts bowing down to her, and she was blushing like crazy, and it was a crazy scene. Like, she had the biggest smile on her face. It was amazing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Well, let me ask you this. I guess there's questions for you, Chris. Do you think Game of Thrones is one of the greatest shows of all time, or if not, what do you think it ranks?
It is in the top 3 greatest shows of all time. Absolutely, it's phenomenal, and I'm a TV movie buff. But yeah, I'd say top 3. Obviously, you're gonna have, in my opinion, you're gonna have The Sopranos, always gonna be there.
Absolutely, 100% agree.
And then and for me, a personal thing, Entourage, I think was one of the greatest shows ever made. And then Game of Thrones, and you know what they all have in common? All HBO shows. Just saying.
Very, very true. Very true.
Good point, Chris.
Okay. So let me ask you this: what's your favorite show of all time? I don't know if this is your favorite show. Is your favorite show of all time, Chris?
Entourage.
Entourage. Okay. Anu, what about you? Favorite TV show of all time?
I don't really watch shows like new school wise, but old school. You got Fresh Prince, you got Family Matters, but new school. If any shows that I do watch is like Chicago PD, and that's not something majority of people probably be able to relate to, like Criminal Minds and Law and Order, things like that.
Don't sleep on Criminal Minds. Criminal Minds is tough. I mess with Criminal Minds, definitely.
Derek Morgan, yo.
Yeah, I mean, for me, all time is Fresh Prince. Up there for me, Sopranos as well, as Chris mentioned. Entourage is there, Family Guy, of course. But yeah, Criminal Minds. I'll do that, Saturday binge-a-thon they got on that. I forgot what channel it is, but yeah, they'll just show Criminal Minds all day. Yeah, if I'm home on a Saturday, I'm watching Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move along right to get into some sports action. Want to talk about basketball, of course. The lottery was the other night, and the New Orleans Pelicans won the right to have the top pick in this year's draft. They only had a 6% chance to win. They got the top one. Memphis got number 2, and the Knicks got number 3. First of all, let's just talk about New York. I want to know how many New York Knicks fans are slitting their wrist this week about not getting the number 1 pick and being able to get Zion Williamson. Dude, Knicks fans are pissed right now, dude.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but to exemplify, the Knicks fans being pissed, just go look at Stephen A. Smith. Go put him in the search and go see what his reaction was.
Dude, he went off.
That's it. And like a little toddler and his family. He's like, I don't even want to see him. I don't even want to talk to him.
Dude, he was, as we call, mad about it. Dude, that dude was pissed, yo.
Yeah, way beyond pissed. Like,
dude, he was so angry. He blames Dolan, even though Dolan had nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. James Dolan has nothing to do with the draft lottery. But he still blames Dolan. Dude, Knicks fans, I don't know, man. Chris, feel free to jump in. Are the Knicks just doomed to just suffer for eternity?
For the next 20 years,
or is there some light at the end of the tunnel? Because they're probably going to draft R.J. Barrett, because I think the Grizzlies have announced that they're probably going to look at drafting John Morant. So if they get R.J. Barrett, maybe they're still going to try to pursue Kevin Durant or maybe / Kyrie or Kemba Walker. Feel free to jump in.
I mean, honestly, I mean, from the reports I'm hearing from ESPN and especially the aforementioned Stephen A. Smith, who's pretty well connected in the league, it is a 95% chance that Kevin Durant is going to the Knicks. So that's happening. You can put a bow on that. It's done. Now, whether they attract Kyrie there, Kemba, someone else, I'm really not thinking that's going to be the case. But I think there's light at the end of the tunnel for this year coming for the Knicks fans. But overall, they're just a doomed franchise forever.
Look, I'll give Kyrie his props. Like, I'm not taking nothing away from him, but just in general, overall, in terms of his poise and he got more of a chip on his shoulder because he hasn't done nothing yet. So I would take Kemba over Kyrie. Because he's not coming from, a dismantling team and dismantling season, with the Celtics. You know what I mean? I mean, technically, yes, with the Hornets as well. But, I mean, him and Durant, I think they're a much better duo. I think they would just work a lot better,
Yeah,
less egos.
Kyrie seems to be kind of a headache, especially how the season ended in Boston. Well, let me ask you this. So let's go over to the Pelicans, because obviously they got the pick. Probably going to say they're going to go after Zion. Does this change Anthony Davis's mind? Does he think he wants to stay now in New Orleans, or you think he's still? So you're saying no, Anu?
No, I mean that's a grown man decision. He had his time there. I mean, I think if Griffin coming in like now, I think it's too late. If he would have came in earlier to kind of make some moves, fine. I mean, he may stay the season because it's up to the team to trade him. So he may play, and then he may he may fuss about it, and this way they may keep him out of a few games because he may fuss about it, but not tell the media. Just say, okay, he has some, injuries and stuff like that. But, I mean, he's not going to accept the contract extension, even if they don't trade him, at the end of the year or even mid-year. So they're going to trade him because they want to get the best, because more likely than not, he's not staying. So it's best you get what you can for him, even if this year is amazing.
So even if, Chris, I'll ask you this, even if they do draft Zion, do you think Anthony Davis is gone either way?
Absolutely. Honestly, and don't sleep on this Knicks Pelicans drama we have going on here to see if the New York Knicks put together a package to actually get said Anthony Davis over to New York. Because our sources are telling us that of all of his choices, Anthony Davis actually prefers New York over anywhere else. He goes New York number 1, LA number 2.
Really?
Now, no one's not talking about that, but do not be completely blown out of water. If that number 3 pick, a bunch with the compensatory picks, some cash, whatever, ends up being as a trade offer for Anthony Davis to get to New York. And then can you imagine that? Anthony Davis, KD, Now we're talking, New York.
Chris, I was just gonna say that. You read my mind, man. I was gonna say I haven't heard that before about him wanting to go to the Knicks like that. But the fact that you bring that up, I'm like, you know what? I like that.
See, to me, I thought it was still the Lakers, and I was thinking, so the Lakers had the number 4 pick. So I was thinking, do the Lakers trade that number 4 pick and their young stars, as in Lonzo, Ingram, Kuzma, for Anthony Davis, bringing him there, and still try to get somebody like the likes of Kemba in free agency. So you have Anthony Davis, you have LeBron, you could possibly have Kemba Walker, or even maybe let's say Klay Thompson, because Klay's on a free agent after this year, and he wants to be in California. Now, will he probably re-sign with the Warriors? I think he probably will, but I think the Lakers. I think the Lakers, will pursue him. Try to at least pursue him out of Golden State. So I think. But you mentioned, Chris, about the packaging the Knicks package to the New Orleans. What is more attractive right now for the Pelicans? The number 4 pick, and you got Lonzo, Ingram, and Kuzma, or the Knicks trading, maybe possibly the rights to R.J. Barrett and some other guys who really aren't as established or future picks, but you don't know what's going to happen. I think that Lakers deal would be more attractive for New Orleans. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not possible, but
I think it's on paper is a more attractive proposition. But you have to remember, Sherman, they trade away their best player in their franchise history. If that's what they're going to do you really think they want to keep him in the West, where he's going to come back to haunt them year in and year out? So that's why I think New York is going to end up being more of a possibility than the Lakers, because you saw the Lakers put everything in the kitchen sink on the table this year to New Orleans, and they just said, no, sorry, we're not doing that. So honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. Now, the dream scenario would be, like you said, to have LeBron, AD, and Kemba, in my opinion, all on the Lakers. But that is not going to happen. I'm telling you, he's going to New York.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
So another reason why he won't stay? Because on lottery night, when they won the first pick, look, as a small market, they can't sell tickets. But guess what? They sold 2,000 tickets that night as soon as they won the first pick. So now that means that people know AD most likely won't stay and he's leaving. They bought tickets for Zion. So think about it. So that's not an issue in terms of keeping him for, in terms of, merchandise, in terms of money and, sort of organization, and the brand Pelican can make their money. So now it's about getting what they can to build around Zion, and they get to go. So they're gonna sell tickets if Griffin can put together a good trade and a good bunch of people around Zion, and they'll be fine, man. It's gonna be a lot better than last year in terms of ticket selling, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Zion is. Let's face it, Zion is the main attraction. He's the one that's gonna bring people to the stands. I mean, I was just gonna say, obviously, so. I think it's a clear consensus he's going to be the number 1 pick. Do you think he should be the focal point of a team, or do you think they should bring in veterans to kind of mold him and lead him, in the way?
Absolutely, bring in veterans. You must, because even LeBron needed veterans. Everybody needs veterans to, show people the ropes. So you definitely need veterans.
Yeah, Chris, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, we've never seen a Zion Williams in the league. The closest thing to it in regards to hype coming into the league was LeBron. And now in the days of social media, where Zion actually has over 3 million Instagram followers, there's going to be so much attention on this young guy. Can I think he can handle? Absolutely. But news got it dead right. He's got to have some.
I will say he's veterans. Yeah, he's very mature. I'll say he's good. He's great with the media. He takes it all in stride. So I mean, kudos to Zion. For adapting, because let's face it, he's everywhere. So yeah, Chris, I'll agree with both of you guys. I should bring at least some veterans in him. Guys, let's move on. Let's get right into some playoff action. I want to recap the semifinals really quick in each division. We'll start out west. As we know, the Blazers beat the Nuggets in 7 games. I don't know if you guys watched that game 7. CJ McCollum went off. He had 37 points and only 2 free throws and 1 3-pointer. So he was definitely blowing out. His mid-range jumper was working. But I will say, I like that. I like Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic.
Joker. Yeah, he is a rising star player in this league. Absolutely, dude. I think the Nuggets will be back there. I don't think they're quite, on that level to go make a deep run. But I think Jokic, he's such a great. Even though he's a big man, he can lead the way. He can lead the team down the court. He's almost like that point center, if you will.
He's pretty much a Draymond Green.
Yeah, almost like
Draymond Green.
But way more talented offensively.
And he gets three. Yeah,
100%, Chris. 100%, Chris. He's way more offensively talented than Draymond Green is.
Absolutely.
Jokic is actually right now, until they got knocked out, he's third in this year's playoffs in assists. He's leading, and he was leading the playoffs in rebounding. He's up to averaging 7 assists a game throughout the entire regular season, and he's actually starting to rival some of the league's all-time great passers. And I'm talking Will Chamberlain, Hakeem the Dream, Pau Gasol, Vlade Divac. I mean, and this gentleman, I mean, he's still young.
Yeah, he's in his 20s. I mean, this kid he's gonna be good, man. I like the way he plays. He facilitates very well, leading in assists. He's definitely a big man who can do it all. So good for him. I mean, like I said, kudos to the Blazers for getting past them. But McCollum, they needed that. They have that two-headed monster in Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. It's always wondering who's gonna go off. Is it gonna be Dame? Is it gonna be CJ? In that game, it was CJ. Even the coach after the game, it's a pleasure to be able to have two different guys on your team that can do that, when you can depend on one of them each time. So that's great. Moving on, the Warriors, and you touched on it before, the Warriors beat the Rockets in 6 games. And even without KD playing in that game 6 due to that strained calf, quote unquote strained calf, if it's not the Achilles, did the Rockets just blow their chance or what, dude? Because without KD, I thought the Rockets would win that game 6 in Houston for sure. I would have put money on that. They would have won that game. Gone back to game 7. I mean, I think the Warriors would have still won in 7 in Oakland. But, dude, how do you not win on your home and then they don't have KD? And think about it. Steph Curry had 0 points in the first half. Mm-hmm. And then went up for 33. You have to take advantage of that. I mean, Clay was consistent. Dude, I mean, I don't know. I'll touch you.
Sure, I got you. Yeah. So I'll answer this question by actually starting off with asking both of you a question. And Sherm, you usually ask the questions. So the question is, did you guys know and did you guys hear what Chris Paul did to Curry before the game started?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear. I didn't hear.
Heard about that.
So Chris knows. So Sherm, let me put you on. So Steph Curry scheduled a 1-hour practice before the game. Chris Paul happened to hear about it, and then he did was he got to the gym before that scheduled time, and now he's practicing, and then when Curry time came, he got him kicked out. And then I don't know who it was, asked, "Oh, do you want to share the gym?" Because he's on one side of the court, he could be on the other side, and he said no. So then when Curry and then the Warriors won, they go into the back to the locker room. Curry goes to Green, kick me off the court again, boy. And he's referring back to Chris Paul.
Wow, I did not hear that. Wow,
so
that's karma. CP3, that's karma.
This is stupid on Chris Paul's part. Why are you going to give fuel to a younger, more talented person than you? The team that you're trying to beat. You should have been like, yeah, come through. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't give him that fuel. See his game. See how he's getting ready to play the game. That's where you know how to guard him. Yeah. You put yourself in a blind.
Wow. I did not know that. That's a pretty interesting tournament. I mean, that's karma for Chris Paul, dude. I mean, he did play well in that game. He had 27, 11, and 6. I mean, you think,
but Harden both became quiet the last few minutes again. Yes, they had their points. They played well.
Right. Yeah. Harden had 35 and 8, but then again, I think some people were criticizing Harden again in that clutch moment. Where was he at? I mean, Chris, do you think Houston will ever get past Golden State, or I just don't know what to think about them right now? Is it D'Antoni's fault? Is it Harden or Chris Paul's fault? What's going on with Houston? Can they ever make this push?
No, Sherm. I don't think they will ever get past it. Like you said, this was their chance. This was their chance. This is their window. No KD. I mean, this is the same team that brought out every analytic stat possible to try to complain about last year and the referees and you cost us this many points and blah, 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 blah. If we would have had Chris Paul, we would have won. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Show up or show out. That's what I have to say. And that's what, and it's just ridiculous. I'm disgusted by the Rockets.
Dude, Houston should have won that game for sure. Without Kevin Durant, there was no excuse. You were at home. There was no excuse for not to win that game. I don't know if it's do they need another superstar? Do they need to bring in like somebody like Anthony Davis or whatever just to do this? I mean, load up like everybody else is doing. Can they win with just Harden and CP3 as they know leading guys, and with the help of Capella and those guys? I mean, do they need somebody else?
They have enough. I mean, they're in the same spot they were last year. They just didn't show up when the moment mattered.
Yeah.
No, but a few of the points. It's the system, in terms of it's basically like, it's not a team system. It's a one person system, meaning it's either Paul or Harden, and it's usually Harden with so much dribbling.
They run so many ISO plays. It's crazy.
If they played the way the Warriors did, Warriors would have no chance. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't say no chance, but like a much less of a chance. You know what I mean? They would definitely get passed by them. But man, I mean.
But think about it, dude. When Clay and Curry are going off, like I said, Curry was doing. He had 0 in the first half. Then he went for 33 in the second. I mean, when the Splash Brothers are on, I mean, I don't know if they can really, truly be stopped completely when they're on like that. I don't know what It's one of those things. It's like, dude, they're just that good shooters. What can you really do about it?
But you know what? Another reason why I think they won, Warriors, because the game plan was to in terms of defense was including Kevin Durant. Now he comes off, their game plan is thrown off, and it's like, oh, they get confused, they get frozen. They're like, we don't know what to do. Okay, so now you got the next game without Kevin Durant from start to finish. Mm-hmm. But this was the first game all year the bench actually came out and made it seem like there's something, right? Mm-hmm. Because up till then, they were like, oh, they have no bench. If the bench played like they normally would have, they would have lost that game. And most likely, a good chance they lost the series. But the bench, since that game, now and even going on to the next series, which we'll segment into.
Steve Kerr's been going to his bench. He's deeper in his bench, I will say, yes.
And he was like, I should have won before. But he somehow got them to wake up. And I think that's another reason why they'll breeze through Portland. I know we're about to get into that. But I think that's why they'll be okay even without Kevin Durant. Going if they make it to the finals, which I think they will. Because the bench has woken up.
Got you. So let's go real quick to the Eastern semifinals. The Bucks beat the Celtics 4-1. Dude, I mean, I had Celtics winning that all the way. I just can't believe they won. They lost in 5 games. If they were going to lose 5 games, I mean, they won the first one, then lost 4 in a row. Is it? I mean, Chris, was this more about the Bucks winning or the Celtics just losing and playing bad ball? I mean, what is going on? Real quick, to me, the Celtics had the most talented lineup in the Eastern Conference this year and in the playoff. Like, I don't even know what to say about this, dude.
No, honestly, I think it was just a great job of coaching. And which is crazy to me because I think Brad Stevens is one of the best coaches we have in the NBA, but he just got outcoached, completely outcoached in this season. And that's all it came down to, X's and O's. I mean, and obviously Giannis being the Greek freak, we all know what he is. He's a bad man.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I mean, no, he was just outcoached.
Dude,
no, but
go ahead, Nanu.
No, I was gonna say on top of the X's and O's. Honestly, look, you had one team where the chemistry is like the Warriors, where they're like this, right? Like they were all one. It wasn't 5 players; it was like one player, right? And on the other side with Celtics, they were all over the place. They were scattered. They wanted to be away from each other. They wanted to play 1 against 5. You know what I mean? So it's like that chemistry wasn't there.
Well, let me ask you this: now that they just kind of collapsed, do you think Boston reloads this whole team, kind of blows it all up? Do they maybe trade for Anthony Davis and give up their young core? Does Kyrie really actually want to still be in Boston? I don't know if you guys saw it. Terry Rozier was on.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, he was doing some interviews the other day. He said that basically it was turmoil when Kyrie came back. His playing time went down, and he said pretty much without saying it outright, if Kyrie stays, deuces, I'm out. I'm out. 5,000. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do they blow this whole thing up and just revamp it, go after AD, or just kind of let people go? I don't know. I'll go to you first this time. What do you think the Celtics really do here with this current situation they have?
I think people who can leave, who, if they have options, I think they'll check their options, right? For the most part, Kyrie most likely will be gone because you can see he didn't even want to own up to in terms of his leadership. He should have owned up. Yeah, it wasn't totally his fault because he's not the only one who's having chemistry issues. Everyone's gelling, but he isn't gelling with none of them. No one's gelling with nobody. At least in this series, that is a total meltdown, right? Rozier, as he said, I sacrificed my talent. I think he goes, even if he leaves, someone else might get his spot, or it's still a lot of talent. So it's like you want to go, you want to get away from not too much of that talent. So I think he's probably going to check his options and most likely leave, because it's like when he has those feelings, when you have what you have, about the season and about the team now, it's hard to get rid of that. You know what I mean? So I think whoever can would definitely check their options for sure.
Right. Chris, what about you? Do you think they kind of just do a complete reset and do over, so to speak?
I think the Anthony Davis situation is intriguing. I think if they put a package together, which would include probably Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum,
absolutely,
and probably a draft pick and some money, a couple other ancillary parts here and there, that's intriguing.
Even Rozier.
Rozier's an unrestricted free agent though, so I don't think it could trade him. That wouldn't be a very highly coveted asset for the Pelicans.
Dude, Tatum and Brown, that's a nice package right there.
That's what I'm saying. So you that, and then you bring Anthony Davis over.
Pick money.
Now you got it. Now you're talking. Let Gordon Hayward finally have. He wasn't even really back this year. Hayward, I think it was unfair to him because he had a horrific injury, as we all remember. So he didn't even get the whole. I mean, he understand he played the whole year, but he really wasn't back. So I think when he comes back, he's going to be more of the Hayward we remember in Utah. Yeah. Now we're talking. Now we're talking something very interesting.
But let me ask you this: does Kyrie have to stay for that really to work? Because then you could have Kyrie, Gordon Hayward, Anthony Davis, and Al Horford. Does Kyrie have to stay, or does Kyrie want to stay if they get AD? Chris?
If they get AD, he's staying. If they get AD, he's staying. I mean, because you have to remember all of his, all the turmoil and all the drama was with all the young guys. They weren't responding to him the way he thought they should. So if you got rid of all those young guys,
I will say. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say Kyrie's pretty much in the interior game. Besides the three, Harden got to beat. But what I want to say is Kyrie's pretty much a better Harden. You know what I mean? In terms of finisher wise, and wanting the last shot and keep going for the last shot. He won't shy away. So it's like same thing. He's like a one man, dribble. You know what I mean? He's not so much of a team player. He's gotten better, but he's not there yet.
Dude, in that game 5, dude, I think I can count the number of times he passed the ball. Dude, he was doing his own thing in that game 5 quite a bit. There wasn't really much ball rotation by Kyrie in that game 5 against the Bucks. So I will co-sign that. But I did hear a rumor from somewhere that Kyrie may look to go to the Lakers to rejoin LeBron. I'm not saying it's definitively going to happen. I heard that it could be very possible that he could go to the Lakers to join with LeBron again. Chris, do you like the possibility of that happening?
That's honestly, I think that's the perfect place for Kyrie, in my personal opinion. That's where he needs to be. He never should have left. They broke up a good thing. Who knows? Maybe they could have competed for another title this year against the Warriors. I think that's perfect because here's the thing. We all know that Kyrie emulates Kobe Bryant. He thinks he is Kobe Bryant, the way he talks, the way he holds himself. So you have Kobe Bryant influence bringing him over. LeBron, him. They can win 1, maybe 2 titles in the next 4 years with what's ever happened with the Warriors and them disbanding. And then guess what? Keys to the castle, my friend. LeBron's going to retire in 4 or 5 years. Kyrie, you'll still be 30 years old. I mean, I think that's a perfect fit.
Yeah, I would like it if that would be nice if he went to LA.
But guys, I have bad news for you guys.
What's that?
So Stephen A. Smith was on air on First Take, and that they were talking about that, right? And right then and there, while they were talking about that, from his family, Kyrie's family, texted Stephen A. Smith, hell no, he's not going to Lakers.
Oh, shit.
Hell no.
Wow.
No way.
Wow.
So, I don't know. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. But Eddie, let's move on to the other Eastern semis. Raptors won that game, Raptors won Game 7 over Philadelphia in dramatic fashion. Kawhi Leonard with the buzzer beater, falling out of bounds, bouncing on the rim 4 times and dropping in. Toronto went nuts. Jurassic Park, the outside of the arena, went crazy. I mean, that shot, dude. And that was the first ever game winner in a Game 7 in playoff history. First of all, in a Game 7. But dude, and that was unbelievable. So we had another classic shot, Damian Lillard in the first round over the Thunder in that Game 5, that 37-footer or whatever it was. who shot it? Whose game winner is better, Kawhi or Dame Lillard? Chris.
Well, without a doubt, it's Kawhi Leonard's because it catapulted Toronto into their only second ever Eastern Conference Finals. So that's why I put that over. And even though Damian Lillard's shot, he's a bad man, but Kawhi is definitely better.
Yeah, a new Dame or Kawhi, whose shot was better?
Kawhi, but with Dame, though, I'll give him this. It was more prettier because of the hand wave, but besides that, in terms of the shot, it could once again, it's not like it's far off. It's kind of like toe-to-toe, but who's going to get the edge for sure? By far is definitely Kawhi.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'll agree with Kawhi's falling out of bounds, corner of the court, bouncing on the rim 4 times, then dropping in. More
one bounce, 2 bounces, 3 bounces is one thing. 4 bounces, that's another.
Dude, that was crazy. But let me ask you this: how far do you really think Toronto can go with just Kawhi and Kyle Lowry leading the way? Do they need another piece on that team to really lead them to the promised land? Chris, I'll ask you first.
No, I mean, Kyle Lowry, is the same thing, when DeMar DeRozan was there. They for whatever reason, there's a certain gene, a certain thing in you that makes the Kawhi Leonards or the LeBron James, the Kobe Bryants of the world, that gene to get it done at the last minute, and they don't show up. He doesn't have it. James Harden doesn't have it. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are superstars or stars in this league. They just don't have that it factor, and Kyle Lowry's one of them. So Kawhi can't do it himself.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Do they need another piece really to get by?
They do, but I mean the fact that he had 30, so in a way he technically showed up, but they lost, and they had a 12, 13 point lead, from what I understand, and they just let it go. Once again, I think that was better coaching, from the Bucks side, right there. That he just got outcoached. Nick Nurse, he just got outcoached at the end, right? I think Budenholzer, he has more experience.
Yeah.
And I think they would need another piece, but if he could bring 30 every game, Lowry could bring 30 every game. They possibly can get to the finals. I don't think they'll win it though, for sure.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: going to talk about Philly for 1 second. What happened? Are we still trusting the process, guys, or is really the process just a thing of the past almost now? I mean, is it really working, or how much longer can we trust it, if we trust it at all? Weigh in on Philly for me from 1 second. What do they really do from here?
All right. How are we going to trust the process when the people who are in the process don't care about the process anymore? Such as Embiid. He said, fuck the process. Sorry, guys. That's quote unquote what he said. I think he said, I don't care. I'm out of, exaggerated. But he doesn't care about the process. So you know what? The process is done with. We as fans got to stop, caring and thinking about that. Now it's time to get busy. It's been a few years, and it just depends about who they keep and, in terms of how they're going to go about this, in terms of how they're going to build this or keep this and keep building around it, or if people are going to leave, get traded or whatnot. And then it just, honestly, we're going to have to see what happens.
Yeah, Chris, what's going on? Do you think the Sixers should build around Ben or Embiid really moving forward? Because, Simmons can't shoot. Embiid always injured. What does Philly do from here?
Honestly, I think it's interesting. I was listening to Will Kane on his show the other day, and he brought up a very interesting hypothetical. Trade Ben Simmons for LeBron James. No, hear me out, Danu. Hear me out. Now, obviously,
there's no way LA would do that, though.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to say you would just straight up trade 1-on-1.
Yeah,
obviously, guys don't do that. But you get LeBron James in Philly with Jimmy Butler. We're talking something special. I'll tell you right now, one way or another, mark it right now. May 16th, 2019. This year, one way or another, Jimmy Butler and LeBron James are going to be playing together.
At some point, you think?
I'll give you that. But
remember, and real quick, remember, Butler's a free agent as well too this year.
Exactly.
Does he stay? Does he stay in Philly?
I thought they had the chemistry going, but at the very last play, they were all playing like hopscotch. with the ball. And I'm like, wait, Jimmy Butler is the finisher. I think they were trying to play the system, and I think one of them forgot to say, "Oh, I'm the man. I'm gonna do this." Even though Philly didn't, say who's the man. The media has made Butler the man, like in terms of finisher and the go-to guy and the one who's gonna carry them over the hump.
Yeah,
and he did it. And they were trying to play the system in the last 10 seconds when they needed a basket, and they were just trying to pass it around to try to play pass first, try to find the best shot, like a Warriors type of thing, and trying to play teammate ball. No, right now you need a bucket. Let's go. You know what I mean? And they failed to do that. So I think that right there was a big letdown. And I'm gonna say I don't think he stays.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he stays or not. It's interesting, Chris, that you said that LeBron, he's a free agent, so he could go maybe if he goes to LA. I don't think many people were talking about that. He can go
Walker.
Butler and Kemba?
Dude, Butler and Kemba, that'd be nice. That would be very nice. Yes. And
because LeBron likes, someone straight up. And Jimmy's like, yo, straight up, let's go. Like effort. And he, LeBron hasn't had someone like pure effort, right? And that's what Butler's all about. Like, please work hard. He's like, he just wants everybody to work hard like him.
Yeah,
he wants people to work hard.
You could have Kemba in your starting lineup, Butler, LeBron, and Kyle Kuzma all in your starting lineup, or Brandon Ingram in your starting lineup. Dude, that's a nice package right there to complete out west. That's a real
even
nice
AD package. If they got the money. Even AD if they do the trade.
Well, I don't think they can afford LeBron, AD, Kemba, and Jimmy Butler. They can't afford to pay all four of them, dude.
No. Three of the four are max contracts. That wouldn't work.
Yeah, it'd be too much money. It'd be way too much money. Anyway,
I'm sorry, but everyone was on a 1-year contract, so there's a lot of people clearing up. So technically, it's not like people are locked in. So it's not like there's a lot of options. It's not like they're locked in like a lot of other teams.
But AD's gonna want a max. Kemba's gonna want a max. You know what I mean? So I just don't think they're gonna be able to afford them two and LeBron salary and with Jimmy Butler because he's gonna want a max too.
But they could do 1-1 or 2-1 instead of really long term max. You know what I'm saying? And still work it that way. And, one or two of the guys could do. Okay, let's do the 2 for the 1-year option.
Well, I can tell you, somebody's gonna have to take a pay cut. Somebody gonna have to take a pay cut.
He'll take it. He's already taking it. He'll take it.
Because I'm telling you right now, that check gonna bounce. Something they don't. That check gonna bounce. They don't take a pay cut. I'll tell you that shit right now. Excuse my language. But anyway, moving on. Let's get into the conference finals really quick before we have to go. We'll start out west. Game 1, of course, was won by Golden State the other night. As we know, they came out with that victory, I believe, 116 to 94. Dude, I'll say about this. In the first half, Portland had way too many early turnovers.
14.
They had 14 turnovers in the first half. They had 14 field goals. They also 14 missed shots. They were 3 or 14 from 3, 14 missed shots in the paint. They can't win like that, dude. There's no way you can get past Golden State with that many turnovers early on. And they weren't doing a very good job defending the pick and roll. As we all know, Steph and Clay, they come off those screens and hit those jumpers, those threes. That's something you have to be able to. You have to be able to come off that screen well and quickly to get in their face. And if you can't do that, you're not going to stop them, dude. I don't know what you guys thought about that game or not, but I mean, Lillard had 19, McCollum had 17. Okay games, but Curry 36, Clay 26, Green 12 and 10. And again, no KD in game 1. But I will say the Warriors went to their bench early and often again, and so that really helped out. Chris, what were your thoughts, I guess, on game 1? I know games 2 is tonight, probably getting ready to tip off in a little bit here. Yep. But your thoughts on game 1, Portland and Golden State?
That was Golden State Warriors basketball. Prior KD. That was 73 win Golden State, playing 7, 8, 9 strong off the bench, getting productive minutes from your role players. That was the Warriors basketball that proves right there, with or without KD, they're going to win this whole thing.
Yeah. Wow. That's okay. I knew.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Look, I was surprised. I saw Kawhi Looney play throughout the year, and I'm like, oh, this guy moves slow and all that. All of a sudden, in game 5, right from the previous series, when he stepped up, when he came and did what PJ Tucker was doing for the Rockets, all of a sudden I see him dribbling, and I see him doing moves, and I see him moving fast. And since then, he hasn't stopped, and he became he became their PJ Tucker. Like he stepped up, and then all the rest of the bench stepped up, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like in love with Kevon Looney, and because like I said, now the bench is risen. I'm on Chris. They can win it all, even without Durant.
Played 24 minutes off the bench. Only had 6 points, but still, he still played good ball. There's still good chemistry with them. I mean, I don't know. The key to a victory, I guess, for Portland is just Dame and CJ. They have to have each have at least 25 points every single game for them to have a chance.
I say 30.
I was gonna say 30, but I was trying to be generous. It's like, all right, maybe 25. But yeah, you're probably right. They probably have to average at least 30 points apiece between the two, each of them to get by.
Their only chance to win this series on the defensive end, they need to run a box plus one, Sherm. They need to run the zone defense and just be all out above that line, because it ain't happening. 1-on-1, they're just gonna get shredded. And I'm joking, obviously. We know that's a high school basketball defensive style, but there's nothing they can do 1-on-1.
Dude, yeah. Is there anything or new that do you think that the Portland Trailblazers can actually do to legitimately win this series at all?
They have to play on point for 4 games. They have to be like excellent. Mm-hmm. They can't be just par. They can't be mediocre. Yeah. They have to be excellent. That's the only way.
Yeah, so I think it's unanimous here. I think we're all picking Golden State to win it. I'm gonna say Golden State in 5. I think Portland may get 1 game back in Portland, yeah. So I'll say Golden State in 5. How many games do you think Golden State takes this?
I'll say 5, but I mean, with the way they lost and with the way they played and the way Warriors won, it's like it wasn't just a win. It was a blowout win, and it was demoralizing blowout win. It could be a blowout win and not be demoralizing. It was a demoralizing blowout win, and it just seems like they took the air out of the whole team of Portland's. And they could sweep them. They could. But like I said, Dame knows Dame and CJ were embarrassed the last 2 years getting swept in for the previous rounds, like the first round.
Right. Yeah,
they may not let that happen. They may play one real good, excellent game, so I'll give them 1 game. So 5.
Chris, how many games do you think for Golden State to take it?
Well, it just came across the wire, ESPN reporting that Kevin Durant is out for at least the next 3 games, if not more. With that said, again, don't have the capabilities to beat the Warriors, but honestly, I think they're actually going to win it in 6.
6? Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I think Portland will get 1 at home, but I think they win it in 5. But I like it. Let's go on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Milwaukee won that first game last night over the Raptors, 108-100. Dude, Raptors had it. The Raptors should have won this game. They were leading going into the fourth quarter. But I will say, dude, Toronto, they had 24 points in the third quarter. 21 of them were done by Kawhi and Lowry. I think Siakam had a 3-pointer right at the buzzer. Otherwise, it would have been all of just Kawhi and Kyle Lowry. But then in the second and the fourth quarter, Kyle Lowry is the only one that scored a field goal. Kawhi didn't even hit a single field goal in the fourth quarter. In that fourth quarter, dude, Lowry had 14 of the 17 points for the Raptors. That's not going to get it done. And think about it. And the fourth quarter, Giannis only had 1 bucket, and you still don't get the victory. Giannis had 1 bucket late in the fourth quarter, driving in the lane, and they couldn't come away with that victory. That was their chance to win that game. I mean, they had it there. I mean, Kyle Lowry, he had a heck of a game. I'll admit, he said earlier, he dropped 30 points, 8 boards. He was 7 of 9 from 3. Meanwhile, the Bucks, they hit 11 threes as a team. Kyle hit 7 himself. What I don't know, man. If the Raptors couldn't win that one, can they win any, if at all, Chris?
I mean, absolutely, because you have Kawhi Leonard, you have the cyborg from the future. I mean, he alone is going to get you 2 games in this series minimum. But honestly, I think the key to the series for Milwaukee is they just got to keep feeding that beast. And by that beast, I mean Brook Lopez.
Brook Lopez
on fire. Where's this guy been, entire career? I mean, where's this guy been? If he plays that way, I'm sorry, Kyle Lowry and Kawhi Leonard. You can each drop 30, 35 a game.
Dude, he dropped 29 and 11 last night. He was putting up threes.
He's throwing up. He looked like a
year.
Steph Curry.
Dude, balling. Like, dude, Brook Lopez balled out.
Nice shot. He got a nice form. He got a nice let go. He got it.
Yeah, for a big man, he was looking, put up threes. He was looking good. I mean, Middleton had 11 and 11. Giannis, of course, went off 24 and 14. Mirotic's had 13. Even Brogdon off the bench, he had 15. He's playing well too. What's crazy, dude? I like I said, I had Celtics the last round over Milwaukee. Going to the series, I had Toronto all the way in this series. But after last night's game, I don't know. I really don't know. My money would still be on Toronto. However, I would not be surprised if Milwaukee wins this in six games.
Yeah.
I think Chris, you said it right. Toronto can definitely get at least 2 because of Kawhi. But I would not be surprised if Milwaukee wins this in 6 games, even though my money would be on Toronto. Anu, your thoughts, and what's your key to victories and your point really from Milwaukee or Toronto here in your pick?
It's gonna be Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry has to help him out. And actually, the deciding factor, if Toronto wants to win, yeah, you need Lowry, but more so you need Siakam. You need Siakam like Bucks need Brook Lopez. If Brook Lopez goes quiet, and you're only waiting on the beast, then it's like almost like you're going. It's evenly matched. It's gonna come down to the last basket, which it kind of did anyway, right? But they need. Look, I think I personally would like to see the Toronto Raptors in the finals. One Kawhi, I'm a Kawhi fan, and then Raptors. I think they owe the chance, and not owe the final. They not owe the finals or owe the championship. But I think they owe the chance. What kept happening to them in the first round, and I think this is their chance. Just like it was the Rockets' chance, right? It was the Rockets' chance that they lost it. Same thing with Raptors. It's now or never. Now or never.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it looks like Bucks in 6.
He's going Bucks in 6. Yeah, I'll say to your point, right? Lowry needs to step up because I think in the last series versus what's called the Sixers, I think he was only averaging about a little over 13 points a game. He dropped 30 last night, so it's definitely a chance to step up. Chris, your thoughts? Your final pick: who's winning Toronto, Milwaukee this series, and how many games?
And what world are we living in that we have to say if Brook Lopez goes cold? My God. Who would ever thought that if Brook Lopez goes cold? My God. But I think there's just too much depth on Milwaukee. They've been the best team, and that's including the Raptors. Or even out west with Golden State and Houston. They've been the best team all year. That's going to propel them. They have the fresher legs. They're only in a 5-game series versus Toronto's, 7 games with Philly. I think they won it in 6. Milwaukee in 6.
Milwaukee in 6. You've got Milwaukee in 6. Anu, I think you said. I would say Toronto's going to win. They got to win it in 7, but Milwaukee, I wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee wins it in 6. So, guys, that's going to do it this week for the episode of What's from What's the Word Entertainment. I appreciate you guys joining once again. Anu, any final words from you? Any last thoughts and anything here?
Hey, man, go Warriors. I like to see it. You know why? One, I am a fan of them. I'm a fan of many teams, by the way. But more so, I like the 3-peat. I like to see them, be part of history. It's like, why just fall short? Why not just, just get there? And then if you guys want to scatter, be out, that's cool. So, I mean, I like history. I like,
Go Warriors. Okay, all right. Chris, any last thoughts? Any last words for the people here?
All hail the mother of dragons. Daenerys, hit me up.
Arya Stark all day, son. MVP. Arya Stark is the real MVP. Put it on it right now. I'll tell you guys. Guys, thanks you guys once again for joining America. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit me up, you guys, whenever you need to come back on the show. I appreciate you guys being here. Catch you guys next time, all right? See you guys.
All right, man. Be good, man. Take care.